welcome to Meeting Malcolmus, a pavement podcast. Hey, it's JD here, back for another week of carefully tucking in the metaphor to the bed that is the catalog of seminal indie rock band Pavement. I'm looking for the cold part of the pillow. I'm trying to make sure my toes aren't sticking out from beneath Summer Babe. Or is it Finn? That would be appropriate, I suppose. So there's that. For those of you new around these parts, my name is JD. I am uncool and underqualified to be leading such a task. But here I am, week over week, going through the catalog and looking for a breadcrumb trail, all the while hoping to someday potentially meet Malcolmus. So there's that. How are you doing? It's been a while again. This episode was supposed to go up on the 17th of January, which would have represented the 3-year anniversary of the podcast and the 33-year anniversary of Sleigh Tracks. So I missed that because of COVID, and that sucked. And then some shit started to happen, and shit started to get really real. And my poor little pencil neck can barely support my head on my shoulders right now. I am so beside myself and fucked. Let's just say my experiment in the workforce was thwarted by my mental health. And we'll see what happens from here. So there's that. But how are you doing? This, it's funny that this pod started as, something that I was really going to distance myself from, personally speaking. And yet here I am kicking it off by telling you that I'm crazy. And ostensibly so crazy that I can't be trusted behind the keyboard at work. Like I say, when I started this, my plan was to, just go in, talk about the song, and then my mom died, and that changed a lot of things. And it changed the way I approached the podcast. And then Berman died. And then that really flipped things on its ear. And, since around that time, you've gotten to know me a little bit. And I really feel fortunate that I've gotten to know you. In fact, I was really fucking completely blown away at Tim from Portland. I don't know if any of you have seen this. If you haven't, please check it out because I benefit from this directly. But Tim from Portland was miffed. He was miffed when he heard me say that I don't own any tool to play vinyl on. And so he started a GoFundMe to get JD a turntable or a record player or a hi-fi or whatever. However it turns out, however much money we raise, the goal is $1,500. I don't think it needs to be that much, but I don't know anything about this shit. So if you are, if you got $20 in your pocket and you want to throw it my way, I'll gladly take it and get a record player. That would be a lot of fun. So look for that GoFundMe. You can do GoFundMe JD Meeting Malcolmus probably, and it'll probably come up. Or you can look in the Facebook group or Twitter, and you should find it there. So there's that. I will also tell you that getting to know you has been tremendous from the go, because I've gotten parcels, letters, artwork, CDs, books, and just the loveliest emails as well. And I thought that maybe I would share a few of the emails that I've been sitting on these last few weeks, and share them with you on this podcast. So I think I will get at that. Okay, it's been a while since I've opened up the old email drawer and read an email or two. So I figured, this being last call, I should probably clean up that drawer. So I got some emails to read. How do you like that? Trevor from TO. Hey, JD. I'm a bit behind on listening and just getting caught up now. Finished the interview with Spiral Stairs this morning. I promised the story a long time ago, but haven't found the artifact that I wanted to share. It's my jewel case liner from my Slanted CD signed by the band. I just got to TO after living in Vancouver for a year in the summer of '99, and my brother was in town. He told me that Pavement were there too, but the show was sold out. Consolation was they were playing at Much Music. We went downtown and found a lineup outside the studio to get inside and got to the back. The set ended up being in the parking lot, so as it turned out, we were in the front of the line. We got 2 songs and an interview. Wow, this is fucking incredible. Sorry, I gotta stop reading for a second. This is incredible. So, Much Music, for international listeners or people listening outside of Canada, was like our MTV, and the headquarters was downtown Toronto. And they would often do, what they called intermittent interactives or meet and greets with bands, almost like TLR, but less, sort of sucky. Like it was TRL, right? TRL. Yeah. TLR? What did I say? It doesn't matter. Anyway, it was a big deal when these things happened. And if I had my wits about me, fuck. This is dynamite, Trevor. This is dynamite. Before they played, I held up my liner notes and gestured to the band, and they waved me up to get their autographs. I mentioned to Spiral that they should come back and do a license show because I couldn't get tickets as I just got to town. After he called me back up and put me and my brother on the guest list, it was awesome and pretty cool to show up and say you were on Spiral Stairs guest list. What? The show was amazing, but a blur to me. We have tickets for September 2. Maybe we'll see you there. Trevor from TO. Whoa, Trevor. That is great. That's really spectacular. Thanks for sharing that story. It's been one of my favorite things in doing the show is getting to hear your stories of meeting Malcolmus and what it's been like, and, meeting members of the band and, just what that's been like. And we've heard a lot of really amazing stories and got to know people. It's pretty cool. This is Tim from Portland. And he says, hey, JD, the pod is winding down while I'm in the midst of booking the rest of my post-Porto trip after we see Pavement and so many others perform. This will be such an epic way to kick off June and the summer of 2022. Woot woot, COVID be damned. Looking back at the times I enjoyed the pod, I always had a giggle when your gummies kicked in and appreciate your honesty. With a warm heart, I recall the David Berman tribute pod from August of 19. Seems like an eternity ago. Yeah, holy. Thanks again for the chance to chat with you about it. The 2 David Berman tribute nights in Portland were truly special and full of amazing performers, including, of course, SM, once solo, and then another time with Bob. Although the energy was heavy, David Berman fans are a good bunch of peeps to be around. I also have to note the time you were on the Conundrum. Wowie zowie, that was one of the wackiest pods or what? Those guys would be a hoot to have pints with. If you don't go to the Porto show, well, I'll have to call them all posers. That's Tim from Portland. That's pretty great. Yeah, I'll be seeing him in Porto for sure. So that's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. I just have to make sure my flight arrives on time. That's it. I arrive on Friday. So it's like, I arrive early in the morning, but I did that so that I would have enough time. My God, though, makes me nervous. Anyway, we got Pete from Spain, and he says, I found the podcast from a tweet that Malcolmist himself put out. Strange that he hasn't yet responded to an interview request. Well, yeah, okay. So early on, SM did tweet about this podcast. I don't know how he heard about it. I don't know if I was adding them at the time. Maybe I was. I don't know. But yeah, he put out a tweet that like, oh, it looks like somebody's doing this. Good luck. And my Twitter exploded. And that was all well and good. But nope, haven't heard hide nor hair of him since. I remember being in the bathroom at my former job before COVID happened and I became unemployed. The first time I came across it. As I was listening to You're Killing Me, it was not lost to me that the sound quality of the podcast at the time was even worse than the recording of the song at Gary's studio. That said, I immediately thought to myself, who the fuck is this crowd? JD. Who the fuck does this guy think he is pontificating about my beloved Pavement? A band only I thought I was cool enough to listen to. But, like watching a train wreck in real time, I couldn't look away. The podcast quickly became a favorite in my feed, and I just couldn't wait until the next episode to hear what this guy had to say next. I want to one day go back and write down all the wonderful JD-isms that I've heard throughout the years, rifling through the spice cabinet that is the catalog of seminal indie rock band Pavement, and use them for nefarious purposes. What a gift this podcast has been to slackers and jokers who still give this band of hooligans credence. I remember talking to Toby Learman of Dr. Dog at a show a couple years back, and he told me how much he loved Pavement, and it's Toby Lehman. But now every time he saw them, they're the worst band he's ever seen live. He smiled and said, but damn, they're fucking good. It was at that moment I knew we were on the same page. Thanks, JD. You've done a lot of good these past few years. That is Pete from Spain. Well, thanks for sticking around, Pete. First of all, glad you made it out of the John safe and sound. And, that's good news. But even more than that, glad that you came around on, good old JD here and realized that, well, you are cooler. You must be more qualified. Well, you are cooler. You must not be as qualified is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Shit. Fuck that up. Oh, well, whatevs. Thanks a lot, Pete, for all the support. All right. Who we got next here? What do we got? We've got Harry. And I don't know where Harry's from, so I just have to say Harry. I don't normally do this. I feel, I don't know what to say. It's Harry. Okay. Harry. Shoot me an email, Harry, jd@meetingmalcolmist.com. Tell me where you're from. You don't have to do that. But hey, JD, I've been lurking on the Pavement subreddit for most of the pandemic, trying to pick up cool nuggets of information about the band. Gradually, I noticed your posts and decided to give the pod a chance on my walk home last week before Christmas. I was blown away by your Spiral interview and enjoyed all the episodes I've binged in the last couple days. I'm sad to see the pod leave so soon after I discovered it, but I look forward to checking out the back catalog. May I suggest a Silver Juice pod in the future? Berman's lyrics have a lot to unpack. Great work. I look forward to whatever comes next. That's Harry. Well, breadcrumb trails. That's all I can say. Thanks, Harry. Stephen from Belgium says, hi, JD. My best wishes for 2022. I really dig the second pod list. And yeah, you know what? The second pod list really fucking kicked ass. My plan is to do another one for Christmas this coming year. But that seems so far away. Maybe we should do a summertime one. I don't know, though. I don't know. And I don't want to burn you guys out either, with records that, Whoa. Yep, pretty high. Okay. Sorry. I really dig the second pod list and looking forward to the final episodes of your podcast. Not sure whether the Milk is going to reach out. Maybe he wants to remain a mystery, and apparently he doesn't like Spotify. But that's not the most important thing, in my opinion. You stuck through and regained your lust for life. That's what matters in the end. As for me, I survived the COVID craze and I listened to a lot of music this year. I have a ticket for Pavement in Brussels in November, and I eagerly await the expanded Terror Twilight reissue. Hopefully you continue with a similar podcast if you have the time and energy for it. Best wishes from Belgium, Stephen from Belgium. Oh, dude, that's fucking very kind of you. Yeah, what a nice email to get. Yep, we didn't hear from Milk, so there's that. What can we do? We plug away. But this podcast has been a delight to do, and whether there's another one in the future, we shall see. Moik from Oregon. Hello. I love the Pavement Tribute podcast you put together, even if some of the people are just trying to imitate Pavement and maybe not do a perfect rendition. The tracks make me appreciate the original songs in new ways. What a great experience. I have to mention the final track, Finn. Hearing that excellent, unique version made me realize for the first time what an amazing composition that song is. I think it would hold up well performed by a string quartet or by a bluegrass band or whatever. Sell that, Moik. You gotta fucking sell that. You fucking hit it home with the string quartet, and then you diminished with the bluegrass band, and then instead of punching us in the head with the third out, which if you're going for comedy could have been an absolute barn burner, or if you're going for drama, you could have done something to highlight or underscore your first statement. But instead, you just sort of dropped the ball and went, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, whatever. I have to say, I'm going to miss the Meeting Malcolmus podcast. I've been along since the beginning, and I have a lot of great memories of listening while hiking or mountain biking. My appreciation for Pavement, already one of my absolute favorite bands, has increased due to the podcast. So there's that. If you ever make it to Oregon, let me know. Thanks, Moik. Well, God damn it. I want to go to Oregon. So much I want to do. So much I want to do. Thanks for the emails, everybody.
I want to say, hey, it's my secondhand wonder, a thing that recovers the doubt. Slim door. It's of my design, assembled at the cut. Slim door. It's alright to shake, to fight, to feel. Slim door. It's alright to shake, to fight, to feel. Harness your hopes to the folks with the liquor, with the ropes, red ropes, periscopes. They got everything you might ever need. Drop under the chair. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Don't waste your precious breath explaining that you are worthwhile. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Be patient and I'll let you see my carrot rope. Feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. Carrot rope. Feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. A carrot rope. Feed my thrill. It's time to get me off of the grounds. The wicked keeper's down. Hey, little boy, would you like to know what's in my pocket or not? It's no ploy, it is no gimmick. It's a chance of a lifetime to see something that's never seen by mere mortals except me and myself and sweet I be. So what do you say? Would you like to play to the questions little Christian life, debating if it's time to drop the bomb on you, my dear. A little Christian life, a little Christian life. Let's get down to brass tacks and start in. Carrot rope, feed my thrill. I got beaten by weather. Carrot rope, feed my thrill. I got beaten by weather. Carrot rope, feed my thrill. It's time to get me off of the ground. The wicked keeper, he's down. The wicked keeper, he's down. He gets me off of the ground.
Oh, there's a little bit of sass there, isn't there? A little bit of sass from SM. I love it. I love it. Like, I do. It's a scaled down version. I didn't think there were any versions of Carrot Rope out there live. I had always heard that it was a song that they had difficulty playing live due to the fact that Eyebold doesn't sing and play bass very often. And that 3-part vocal at the beginning was sort of difficult to slam down, but it was a perfectly fine arrangement. I dug that. Carrot Rope's a funny song. It's a funny song. It doesn't deserve to be the last Pavement song. It really doesn't. But there's something about it at the same time that is so Pavement. In the context of Terror Twilight, it is really something that is very different than the rest of that record. Ergo, it's a Pavement song on an album full of non-Pavement songs, full of SM songs. And Carrot Rope is different enough that it's like, oh, well, there's that sort of sensibility, whether you like it or not is irrelevant. It's just something that is pretty cool, Okay. A couple weeks back, in my COVID-induced stupor, I managed to put together a contest, which I have to admit is a pretty badass contest. If I were a fan, I would be all over this contest, and you, in fact, were all over this. This contest was only released to listeners of the podcast, so I didn't put it on Twitter or Reddit or Facebook or anywhere else. You had to listen to enter, and holy shit, there's a lot of you out there. So that's pretty badass. Now, to remind you, if you didn't listen, or if you did listen, the question is to remind you of the question. It came from Spiral, and it was, who else were recording at the RAK studios in London at the same time as Pavement? His answer, the Pretenders. So raise your hand if you have the Pretenders. That would be 0 people. Nobody had the Pretenders. Now, he followed up that by saying an even more obscure answer would be Bernard Butler from Suede. He was there too. 3 people had Bernard Butler from Suede as their answer. And they have now been placed on a wheel. They are friends of the show, Steve from Stockport, Chad from Stevens Point, and James from Kent. So let's spin this fucking wheel and make someone a millionaire. Oh, wouldn't that be cool if that was the prize? Oh, man. Hey, you know what? It's a good prize, though. It's the Terror Twilight. I'm going to remind you, it's the Terror Twilight reissue LP. As soon as I get my hands on it, I will send it out to whoever it is wins this next feature here. We're going to spin the wheel, make a deal. All right, here we go. You ready? Spinning the wheel now. Oh my God. It went right up the line. And it looked as though it was going to stop on Steve. And it instead just narrowly edged over the line and went to James from Kent. So there's that. Congratulations, James.
I wanna say it's my second-hand wonder, a thing that recovers the doubt. Slim like the rainstorm, you gotta do what you want, assemble and sail the slim door. It's alright to shake, to fight, to feel. Slim door. It's alright to shake, to fight, to feel. Harness your hopes to the folks with the liquor, with the ropes, red ropes, periscopes. They got everything you will ever need stored under the chair. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Don't waste your precious breath explaining that you are worthwhile. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Simmer, simmer, simmer down. Be patient and I'll let you see my carrot. Feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. Carrot roll. Feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. Carrot roll. Feed my thrill. It's time to get me off of the ground. The wicked keeper is down. Hey, little boy, would you like to know what's in my pocket or not? It's no ploy, it's no gimmick. It's a chance of a lifetime to see something that's never seen by mere mortals except me and myself and sweet-eyed bee. So what do you say? Would you like to play 20 questions with me? A little Christian life. A little Christian life. Debating if it's time to drop the bomb on you, my dear. A little Christian life. A little Christian life. Let's get down to brass tacks and start it. A carrot, feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. Carrot roll, feed my thrill. I got beat by weather. A carrot roll, feed my thrill. It's time to get me off of the ground. The wicked keeper is down. The wicked keeper is down. He gets me off of the ground.
Just listen to all that going on in there. All those little whirs and whistles, bumps and grinds. Yeah, that's I don't know. It makes me want to jump up and down. Is that so wrong? Is that still wrong? I'll tell you what's wrong. The amount of pressure I put on myself to produce this final episode. I'm reminded of a time when I was about 24 years old, and I was in the backyard. I was getting ready to move. It was the summer of 1998. And it was going to be my last summer at my parents' home. I was moving to Toronto in September of that year and going to start college. I was going to start college. I had done 4 years at university, and I had done a good job at university. I mean, I'm being a little bit, what do you call it? Retrospective illuminance there, because I didn't do well in university, but I had a deal with the registrar that I could come back because I had been elected president. And instead of going back, I made this horrible assertion that, when I came to Toronto in 94, I came to go to university for 4 years, and I've done 4 years, and that's as successful as I'm going to be. So there's that, I was very defiant about it and very dumb. And rather than finish that 4-year degree, go back for another year and finish it up and get that monkey off my back, I instead went to college, community college, and did a 2-year program in communication, which I didn't finish either. I missed by 3 credits, and my university degree is also 3 credits short. So there's something, really fucking shitty about that. I had also broke up with my girlfriend. I had been, broken up with her. I had been dating her throughout university, undergrad. And I broke up with her that summer of 2008 or 98 rather. And I had a fucking whale of a summer. I just had a great summer. I met new girls. I was exploring, there's just a lot of great stuff going on. And it was, instead of letting that stuff happen, I took something that my dad sat me down and told me to heart. And he basically said, Fred, he always called me Fred. He said, Fred, you've got no focus. You've got no focus. And until you find focus, you're going to struggle. And he's not wrong, because I still haven't found focus, and I still struggle every day. And he was a kind man, but he was from a simpler time, and he, in his heart, it was like, you find the girl, you marry her, you get married, you have a family, and Bob's your uncle. And that's just not what I was wanting or desiring. And but instead I opted for that door. I took that door. I went through that door, and I've regretted it ever since. I've had a lot of regret. And this podcast, when I set out to make this podcast, I purposely put a beginning and an end in place at the outset to challenge myself to see if I could complete something, to see if I could finish something. Now, Mr. Malcolmus has gotten in the way of me completing the absolute mandate of the show. No, there is no interview with Stephen Malcolmus at the end of this rainbow. But what it has done for me is it got me through this catalog. It got me through this library. It, introduced me to some fabulous new people. We're going to all meet and, get drunk in Portugal, and that's spectacular. But I can't help feel like I failed this too. I can't help feel like I failed. And that's a drag. And so as a result of feeling that way, I'm going to tell you that the completest episodes that live on the bonus feed are going to continue. They're going to continue for the time being. If you end up, getting to the end of your year or whatever, and you want to change your subscription to $0, that's fine. If you want to up it, that's fine too. The basic subscription is $2 a month. It gets you access to all the bonus feed, which currently has about 45 episodes, and we'll soon have a whole bunch more. $2 a month is not bad. So I am going to continue doing that. And there will be a pod list at Christmas time. And I presume I will do something for Farewell Horizontal. And when I meet the Conundrum Boys in Scotland in the fall, we'll do something up. But ultimately, this is sort of where we touch down, and this is where we land this ship. And I'm sorry that it has to end, on a bit of a bummer. Me saying that I feel like I failed, but there's no other way to put it. The mandate of this podcast was to go through the catalog of seminal indie rock band Pavement with the goal of someday perhaps meeting Malcolmus. And I did not achieve door number 2. So there's that. I've also got it in my mind that I'm going to start a Silver Jews podcast with a similar, sort of formula to this Pavement podcast. Song by song through the catalog of the Silver Jews. To make more Silver Jews fans, like ultimately, I think there needs to be more Silver Jews fans. David Berman was a special human being, and he had a lot to say, and he had to say it. He said it in a very particular way that resonates with me. And, so there's that idea. There is an idea of just, doing random songs. There's an idea of doing a random song with a listener, getting together. And, my pot is just kicked in and I'm almost done this episode. I've been macro dosing, which is where I take 25 milligrams of pot every half hour for 2 hours. And it's a nice way to get up to a higher number without, sort of being a stumbling idiot, unable to function. I bought a gummy the other day that's 300 milligrams. 300 milligrams. I don't know who's eating this thing, but I did 150 milligrams. And I was hurling. I was so sick. I was so high. Like it was fucking incredible, but it was just awful at the same time. So I don't know who does 300. That's insane. But 100, every once in a while, not so bad. I'm talking too much. We're almost at 40 minutes here. This is good. So, this is it for a while. Do good things. Go out there and start your own podcast. If you want to start one and you need help, reach out. If you want to talk about music sometime, reach out. JD@meetingmalcolmus.com. The email's going nowhere. I'm on Twitter as well. I love hearing from you and hearing about your Pavement stories. And if I've missed you reading your email on the show, I apologize. It's not an easy job. This is not an easy job. This is not an easy thing to do, to sit and talk to yourself, especially when you don't like yourself as much as I don't like myself. To be trapped talking to myself for an hour or half an hour rather is torture. So it'd be great to have somebody to bounce things off of. Oh, what am I saying? This is way too much. Way too much info. I miss you already. It's a good thing we did this. It's a real good thing we did this. And that's what I got for you. Stay cool. Be well. And just because I'm not here doesn't mean you can get away without keeping your goddamn hands clean. So please, for the love of all that is holy, wash your fucking hands. Be good.
Meeting Malcolmus, a pavement podcast, is a weekly affair. Connect with JD at jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. Please support the pod by rating, reviewing, or sponsoring us at meetingmalcolmus.com. And hey, I'm social. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Meeting Malcolmus.